You look at the news these days and it feels like the world is just pulling apart at the seams, right? But what if all that chaos we're seeing, what if it isn't random at all? What if it's actually part of a deliberate, really high-stakes strategy? Today, we're going to explore a pretty provocative theory that connects it all, something called the final flex.
This one question, it changes how you see everything that's happening on the global stage. It suggests that what looks like a simple show of strength might actually be a preemptive move, a strategy that's born from the idea that, hey, this level of influence, it's not going to last forever. It's a fascinating and kind of wild idea, so let's really unpack what it means.
Okay, so to really get a grip on this theory, we've got to look at the world as it is right now. And when you do, when you look at the major global events happening, you start to see three distinct patterns emerging.
First off, it really does feel like the world is on fire. I mean, we're seeing conflicts flare up in a whole bunch of different places, regions that seem totally disconnected from each other. And on the surface, sure, they all have their own unique causes and their own players.
At the very same time, we're watching these huge political shifts happen. Alliances are being tested, governments that have been around for ages are suddenly facing instability, and whole new political dynamics are popping up across continents. And that just adds another layer of what's going to happen next to the whole situation.
And then you've got the economic front. We are seeing the very deliberate use of economic weapons. We're talking targeted sanctions, specific trade policies, all aimed at rival nations. You know, this isn't just about business, it's about applying pressure to hit strategic goals, and doing it all without ever firing a shot.
So you've got these three major trends, and they're all happening at once, which of course leads to the big question.
Is all of this just geopolitical chaos, you know, a series of random, unconnected events? Or is there a deliberate hand guiding it all, a single strategy that ties everything together?
And that question right there leads us directly to the theory that's trying to connect these dots. It's what some analysts are starting to call the final flex.
So the idea here is that the United States isn't just reacting to things as they happen. It's actively creating these situations. It's about intentionally pushing its adversaries into really difficult positions to prove that yes, it can still control the chessboard and dictate how things play out globally.
We can still shape the world. I mean, that's the message, right? It's a signal, and it's being sent loud and clear to both friends and foes, reminding everyone who still holds the power to set the global agenda.
All right, so if this strategy is actually happening, how is it being executed? Well, the theory points to three main tools, or levers of power.
First up, you've got the most obvious one, a powerful military presence all around the globe. The second is that economic weapon we talked about, sanctions, which are really designed to cripple adversaries financially. And the third one is a bit more subtle, using political influence to shape foreign governments and basically make sure they're aligned with your strategic goals.
Let's look at a concrete example of this. The source material for this theory points to some of the recent political shifts in South Asia. Critics suggest that the changes in government in places like Nepal, Bangladesh, and Pakistan, well, they might be evidence of this strategy in action, working behind the scenes to secure political alignment for a long-term strategic advantage.
But here's where it gets really interesting. This isn't just a simple show of force. The theory suggests there's a deeper, more urgent reason for all this. There's a ticking clock.
And this is a question that completely reframes the whole final flex idea. What if it's not some celebration of current power, but actually a frantic preparation for a future where that power is much, much less? What if this is all based on knowing that this level of dominance, it's finite? And get this, there's a specific timeline attached to this idea. The analysts behind the theory estimate that the window for uncontested American dominance is closing fast. They're talking maybe only 10 to 15 years left. In the grand scheme of world history, that is just the blink of an eye. So, what this really means is that these aggressive actions we're seeing, they aren't just about today. They're about setting the rules for tomorrow. The goal is to lock in as many advantages as possible for a coming multipolar world, a world where lots of global powers are competing and where U.S. influence will have to be negotiated, not just assumed.
And all of it builds to one final, absolutely crucial question about the future.
This is it. This is the ultimate prize. If this final flex theory is even close to being right, then all the conflicts and political games we see today are really just part of a desperate race, a race to define the future before the power to do so is gone. The game is already happening, and the biggest question of all is who's going to be writing the rules for the next global order?